Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Amir. For today's episode, we're going to talk about Jimmy Butler, obviously, and there's new reports that came out. One from Chris Haynes specifically, basically saying that Jimmy Butler does not want to play for the Memphis Grizzlies. So there was some speculation and noise that the Memphis Grizzlies were interested in acquiring Jimmy Butler, and there was some hypothetical trade packages. They mentioned they didn't want to offer Desmond Bane as part of that package, so they were talking about a package including Smart and Clark and a few other pieces, Kennard, and they basically had emerged as the betting favorite or one of the top two teams that could trade for Jimmy Butler. And so basically, Chris Haynes said, though, from sources, he heard from Jimmy's camp essentially that he doesn't want to go to Memphis. He's going to be a little more selective than he's led on. Initially, when Jimmy Butler requested a trade, he basically said anywhere but Miami. And apparently, there are some teams that Jimmy does not want to go to. So he mentioned there's other teams, but they weren't mentioned directly. But the one that was mentioned was Memphis. So that's kind of a bummer because we know Jimmy's going to get traded. There's no reconciliation. Like, he's not going to play this season with the Miami Heat. I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen after the suspension. I feel like the Heat have a week and a half or whatever it is until the suspension is over. He's missed 2 or 3 games now, so he has 4 or 5 games left on his suspension. So they're gonna have to try to find something, but it's tough right now because there's not a lot of good offers out there, and so I think the Miami Heat are going to get screwed essentially. I don't know if they can hold out and wait until the offseason where Jimmy then can, not pick up his option and become a free agent and walk away and they get the cap space. But yeah, it just seems like Jimmy really wants to go to the Suns. Apparently, that's his preferred destination. I don't know why the Suns are trash right now. They're 12th in the East, I believe, as of yesterday. Not really a great team. But I mean, if you do swap Bradley Beal, hopefully to a third team, because if the Miami Heat front office for some reason accepts Bradley Beal, then this front office is truly cooked. That better not happen. And he has the worst contract in the NBA and maybe across all sports, as he's the 5th highest paid player in the NBA right now, which is crazy. But he wants to go to the Suns badly. We need to find a third team that would take on Bradley Beal. We need that third team to be a team that Bradley Beal wants to play for, as he has a no trade clause. So Jimmy has that preferred destination technically. He hasn't provided the Miami Heat a list of favored destinations, like outside of maybe the 4 that we already know about: the Warriors, the Texas teams, obviously not including San Antonio, and then the Suns. But he's open to playing for a lot of teams, but for some reason not the Memphis Grizzlies, and not exactly sure who else. But Anthony Chang, reported on this, basically saying and corroborating basically this report from Chris Haynes saying that Jimmy doesn't want to go to Memphis. And I thought it was going to be an okay package because the Miami Heat don't have that leverage right now, and they're getting some really low ball offers apparently from Brian Windhorst on ESPN was saying that they don't like any of the offers they've received. The Miami Heat are obviously taking phone calls inbound, and then they're also making calls outbound to teams to see what they can get for Jimmy Butler as well. And nothing has come to fruition so far with that approach. And they have to make some sort of deal. And this Memphis deal, the hypothetical deal where it was, again, Smart, Kennard, Clark, and someone, I think it was Concher, I think their backup point guard, wouldn't have been a horrible package because you're going to get pennies on a dollar whenever a superstar, all-star, whatever, demands and requests a trade. So we know the return's not going to be great. As a Miami Heat fan, I want a good return, but that's just the reality of when, again, stars get traded. And Jimmy's also older. He's 35, and he has this contract extension that he wants. Perhaps, I'm sure he would get that from the Suns if he can have his way, because it seems like, again, that's his number one option. I think the Warriors would be number 2, but they pulled themselves out of the race for now. That could change. You never know. Prior to the trade deadline or prior to Jimmy's suspension ending soon. So we'll see, man. The saga continues. The drama will continue as well. And I'm curious to see what kind of package we can get and where he's going to get traded to and when. And yeah, I'm at the edge of my seat right now. And this Miami Heat team is struggling. They're on a 3-game losing streak. And, the Jimmy Butler era is over. And I want it to be over. Maybe not sooner, honestly, because obviously we get to make a lot more content if it's not over. But I just want some closure with it because it is still a distraction for the team. It's obviously the number one thing that the media is talking about now and asking the Miami Heat. So, yeah, the circus continues. We'll see if Jimmy plays after the suspension, which I doubt he will, or gets traded before the suspension. We'll see. We'll see what team makes the best offer to the Miami Heat, and we'll see what the Miami Heat are going to be willing to take from that specific team. So anyway, that's all I have for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.